What can cocaine abuse cause? There is a whole slew of side effects from cocaine abuse, and so I can break this down into mind versus body. In the body, and there's also short-term and long-term problems too, but over the short term they can cause elevated heart rate and elevated blood pressure. Now this, in a young healthy person, can be tolerated, but somebody who's got pre-existing heart disease, like they've had a heart attack in their past, or any sort of problems of their ability for their heart to pump efficiently, they can precipitate or cause congestive heart failure is another example. But the more important one is a heart attack. That's the most common one. There can be cocaine-associated spasm of the coronary arteries. That can cause a heart attack. There can be cocaine-induced aneurysms of the coronary arteries that can rupture, and this can cause a sudden drop of blood flow to the heart muscle itself, causing a heart attack. It can also cause an arrhythmia, so an abnormal heart rhythm that some can be tolerated and are not life-threatening, whereas other ones can be very much life-threatening and cause a fatal arrhythmia and imminent death. Long-term effects on the heart I just described with congestive heart failure. There's also elevated blood pressure that can cause changes throughout the entire body. There's a whole slew of problems, but those are the main ones. On the mind, now a person, it's very well known that cocaine abuse can lead to psychological changes. Drugs in general can unleash a psychological condition that is just residing under the surface. So these things include worsening anxiety, depression. This is when they're not using. So they use, and they can end up, as they clean up from it, they can end up having worsening depression and anxiety. While they're using, it's a different picture altogether. This is why people abuse the drug, because it gives a sense of well-being and calm and hyperactivity. But over the long term, with cessation of the cocaine, a person can feel worsening anxiety, worsening depression, and more than this, that a psychosis can also come out of the woodwork. So people can have paranoid ideation. They can start thinking and hearing things that aren't existing. They can feel that they're being pursued by other people, that there's special messages from them, from the radio, television, the internet. This is not uncommon. Cocaine-induced psychosis is a very well-known fact. This is the #1 cause of acute psychosis, in fact. So, and then the final thing is that with any drug use, but as well as cocaine, is that it can impair a person's quality of life. They may feel like they're doing better, but really they're shrouded by this drug use. There's lies, deception, and there can be associated breakdown of the relationships they have in their life because of the drug use itself, that they're not really present, even though they might feel they are, but when they've been using, they're not as present as they could be when they're straight. And the lying and the deception can really burn bridges between them and their loved ones. So there are a whole slew of issues that happen to a person when they're abusing cocaine, from short-term effects on the cardiovascular system to more serious complications on the heart, like heart attack and arrhythmias and coronary vasospasm, that's the blood vessel issue. And there can be increased history of aneurysms and congestive heart failure. So a whole slew of things, but the most likely thing that happens with most people, healthy people, is that they can tolerate it over the short term, but over lifelong use, this is where these complications can occur. And that doesn't negate the effect it has on family, friends, and other loved ones, that continued drug use and the lies and the deception, the manipulation of other people, this is where it really has the short-term and serious effect on others.
We've helped over 1 million Americans completely recover from substance abuse. Call now at 1-800-615-1067. Call now.